All right, this past week, the Trump administration rolled back federal guidance on how schools should serve students learning English. The move includes rescinding a 2015 letter issued jointly by the U.S. Department of Education and Justice detailing how schools should meet EL students' needs under civil rights law. Nearly all the staff at the office, in the Office of English Language Acquisitions were let go, and funding for the EL programs were being targeted for elimination. This aligns with President Trump's executive order back in March declaring English as the official language of the United States. Explaining moves, an Education Department spokesman said states having vast different needs for the important population of students and are best equipped to determine how best to educate the students with following all the applicational federal laws. Back with us now is Verdaillia Turner, president of the Georgia Federation of Teachers. Welcome to the show again. Can you hear me? Okay, I think I'm having a problem hearing you. We'll try it now. When you first learned of the administration was rescinding this guidance, what went through your mind as an educator and a union leader here in Georgia?
Well, this is just one more layer of scaffolding of the Trump administration's attempt to deal with immigrations and immigrants in any way that they've been deemed to want to do so. What Donald Trump has done is actually illegal. Now, the question is whether or not states will enforce it and whether or not the Department of Justice will be loyal to the Constitution of the United States and Congress, or whether or not they're going to be loyal to Donald Trump. These students, and this has been going on since the Supreme Court about 50 years ago, decided that in order for English language learners, that's where English is not your first language, to be able to be proficient in English and for their careers to be a great careers and for them to learn and to be literate, that it was necessary to enforce part of the 1964 Civil Rights Act under Title VI. It's necessary to have these programs for students, and it's been going on now for about 50 years. This program also, or the law, I won't say program, I'll say the law, also affects the parents, the homes, the community at large. We think that this is unjustified, it is full, and there is no way it can be justified as saving money. It's actually going to cost us. But that's what went through my head. It's just one more way of trying to strike everyone that, and Chelsea, if I may say it, that doesn't fit the mold for 1930, 1940, 1950 in this country that made America whatever it was at that time.
Yeah. As you just heard, supporters of this move say states and districts know their students best. Do you see local controls as a strength or a risk in this case?
Local control is a strength, but the Trump administration is scaffolding right now to make sure there is no local control. The state has always been in charge of education, not the federal government. And it's best that we have those local boards of education because they have different people they have to serve, and we're different throughout the state and the country, although we do have standards. But it's best for those local boards of education to implement what they see necessary in terms of personnel and the type of students and families to implement the law, and that's what is intended in Title VI. For those local boards of education to be in charge.
Yeah. If federal oversights are gone, what protections are left for students?
Well, first of all, federal oversights are not gone. The law still stands. When Donald Trump last month put his edict out on order, and the Department of Justice sent a note around to federal agencies that they did not have to enforce this law. In essence, that's what it was. The Department of Justice is out of line. So the law still stands. We're glad to see that the Department of Education here in the state of Georgia is funding our schools appropriately now. You know, we had to fight through that because the Trump administration had decided to withhold federal dollars that Congress had already voted on. So now the real deal and the real question here, Chelsea, is whether or not the Department of Education, because we already knew the Department of Education and the Department of Justice has oversight on that ELL and ESOL program. We know that the Department of Education has done it. They cannot enforce everything because personnel now has been depleted and et cetera.
Okay.
So the question is whether or not even our Attorney General going forward, we'll send a letter out to him today, will enforce the law.
Gotcha. All right. Ms. Verdaillia Turner, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate your insight.